once we get into stroke flexion, okay? So I kind of skipped over that. Christy and Chris are going to start on page, hold on a second. 102, yes. 102, they're doing sitting, the stabilizing reversals, and then rhythmic stabilization, okay?
Start on the accelerated quarter here, and then the vertical quarter of the scapula, and don't let me pull you towards me. Pull, 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 relax, and then the opposite. So there you go. Vertebral border, and the accelerated quarter. Don't let me push you away. This is a wonderful position for me.
Okay, so that's your stabilizing reversals.
The other one is you're down on the inferior border on one scapula, superior of the other, and then you're like pushing like that. So don't be pushing.
Does it look any different than what you did with prone on elbows? No, it's the exact same hand placement. It's just in sitting position. Can they maintain it in upright sitting position against gravity now? Okay? All right. Next, we went into improving controlled mobility. So we're doing sitting active weight shifts with arm extended, with extended arm support, and then hands on a ball.
Okay. So the active weight shift, you have the patient move forward and backwards. And then they can move side to side, diagonal, I mean that.
So you're kind of having to teach them the limits of stability with extended arms.
Wait, no, I think I may do this active. I can do the extended arms. So the extended arms, they have their palms like flat on the table. And then they can weight vary through there if they have like flexor, increased flexor tone. I'm just encouraging them to bear weight through their arms. And for the ball, you know, the patient with their arms straight on the ball, and you're gonna, to start off, you're gonna be on the other side of the ball just to control motion, range of motion and speed. You're gonna have the patient come forward and backwards, and you can also do side to side. And then once the patient has sort of learned their, you know, their limits, they can actively go through it.
So we get someone's got poor trunk control. They're getting support through the upper extremity to help control and stabilize that trunk. But that poor control, they might just actually flop forward and not be able to control that forward motion or that lateral motion. Okay, make sense? All right, next then. Active weight shift with upper trunk rotation, right? And then limb movements. Yeah.
Okay, so the patient seated at the edge with his arms across chest like this. I instruct the patient to turn slowly this way. Bring your head over your shoulder. This way. Yeah. And then the other one is, you can do it various ways. I'll just use my hand. I'll have you reach over towards my hand. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Good job. Again. 1, 2, 3.
So we're using the extremities to reach and get that upper trunk rotation.
You can do it with cones or put on the table and have them reach over across as well.
Yeah, lots of different ways you can pull that into play. All right, good. Dynamic reversals with weight shifts.
So for the first one is going to be, you want your hands out in front of you, forwards and backwards. So I'm going to provide some resistance, and I'm going to allow her to come forward. So go ahead and pull forward. Okay. Push back. Forward.
Why do we want the arms out here?
So it doesn't
Sort of
assist.
balance. So what? What about center of gravity?
Well, it challenges your center.
Okay, it challenges the center of gravity, but what is it promoting at the trunk then? By keeping the arms out here? Versus if I had them down here?
It's more stabilization, because you need, I mean, it's kind of like high regard there.
It kind of keeps in that trunk extension position. So if I'm out here, right, if I'm out here reaching, I'm facilitating trunk extension, right? But if I keep my arms down here, I reach and I kind of fall forward with it. So it helps promote and keep trunk extension for good alignment.
Okay.
Make sense?
And then for medial and lateral shift, I'm gonna have my one hand like in the axillary area and then on the vertebral border of the scapula, and I want you to go to your right, or, wait, what am I doing? Okay, sorry, go ahead, go to the right, okay. Then I'm gonna switch hands, come back to the left. Okay.
You can do it. Again, it might depend on the patient. Okay, so Christy asked about when you're doing the dynamic reversals and you're going through that medial, lateral, that anterior, posterior, do you come back to midline and then try to shift over, or do you just shift right over to the other direction? It's gonna be dependent on the patient. If they can get a nice controlled motion all the way through, then I would go all the way through.